Hi, welcome to Monty's Misadventures. I'm Monty, and these are my misadventures. Today we are cycling through the back roads of New Kent County, Virginia. I'll be riding on my giant carbon road bike. I've had it for about a decade. It's been my mainstay for road riding for quite a few miles. Right now what we're doing is getting out of my neighborhood, and here comes the first stop sign. Oop, went right through the stop sign. Breaking the law. Okay, now we're coming up on one of the main highways. We'll go through the first of our traffic circles up here, or rotaries, or whatever you want to call them. The county, over the past 20 years or so, has switched over to almost exclusively traffic circles to get the traffic flow going well. And okay, over here to the right side is a nice horse farm. It's a very pretty ride out here. It's very rural. A lot of old growth forest and cornfields, and right now there's some wheat fields that are coming in. The rides, in general, there's not too much traffic, and most of the car traffic that I come across is they're pretty good about getting out of the way. I don't ever have too much trouble with it. We will get on one portion of a highway that is heavily trafficked by large trucks, big rigs that are. There's a lot of lumber trucks, and there's a truck stop up there that we'll get by, but that they actually present very little problem. And as I said, here we're going through some back roads that will take us through the cornfields and so forth. I think I'm repeating myself now. I started riding bicycles. Of course, you know, when you're a kid, everybody rode bicycles. But as an adult, I got out of the service, went to school, and got my first real job, and started gaining a lot of weight. I've always had weight issues, so had a friend that I was working with. We were airline pilots at a commuter airline, and he was a major bicycle enthusiast. You know, pedaled all over the country with him and his wife, and their tandems and so forth. And he always talked about it. So I decided it would be a good idea to maybe give that a try. And I did. We're talking late 80s when I bought my first road bike. Right now we're crossing over Interstate 64. We'll actually pass over the interstate a couple times on this ride. So I bought my first, a real high quality bicycle back in the late 80s, and that was a steel Trek. I don't remember the exact number. I think it was a 330, but it was for the time it was a pretty nice bike, had good components on it, and I rode it, lost a lot of weight doing that, and at some point I don't remember exactly why, but I kind of quit riding. I got out of it for one reason or the other, and of course you do that, you start gaining weight again. That's how it works. And didn't ride for many years, and then I took my new job at the major airline, and just right, at some point, I got settled into that and decided
we're going to be climbing Vomit Hill. So make sure you tell everybody why we call it Vomit Hill.
Okay, Monty, I will tell them why we call it Vomit Hill. Just what I was talking about when I had that first bicycle, and here we are, Vomit Hill. I'd gained a lot of weight, and I'd been riding just little short rides, and this was the first time I came down this hill the other direction, and then when I turned around and we went back up it doesn't look very steep on the GoPro, but you can tell from how fast I'm moving now that it's a steep hill. And I was so badly out of shape at that point. I made it just to the top, right about here, pulled over and threw up right in the ditch. So from that day forward, we call it Vomit Hill. Anyway, back to how my bicycles came along. I had the second job, the job at the major airline, and just knew I had to do something about it. I was settled into what I was doing there, so I bought my next nice road bike, which was an aluminum bike, another Giant. It was a Defy, I think is what you call it. And in fact, this one I think is a Defy Advanced. And the only thing different is that the Advanced is a carbon fiber frame. Both of them, they use the same Shimano 105 group set, which are basic. They're not high dollar. They're not terribly expensive. But I've always been good at working on them myself, so I don't see any reason to make a change. All right, let's see. I keep seeing. I meant to tell you what we're looking at. I got the GoPro hooked to the left handlebar on the drop down part of the handlebar, looking forward. So that black thing you see in front of you, that's the brake lever, and it's also a shift lever. So you'll see me click the inside part or click the outside part, and that's for the big chain ring. So it's just the two front gears that switches from. On the right side are the derailleur that changes the gears on the cog set, and that's the one with all the many different gears. So you'll keep hearing as we're riding along a little click, 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 and that's what that is me shifting the gears, and you can pick it up on the microphone of the GoPro. Right, we made it to the end of that road, and now we're out. This is Route 60. And I'm going to turn left onto, I want to say Emus Church Road is the name of this road. And it's a bit of a hill climb right here. And the problem is that I like to, when I'm on a hill climb, every once in a while stand up on the pedals, stand out of the seat just to change it up a little bit. But I got injured about a year and a half ago. And so my left foot is weakened, so I can't really stand up and pedal anymore, and that kind of makes it tougher. But I like this section of hill climb because you get over the hard part, and then it's still an uphill battle, but usually you got a little tailwind, and it's not too bad, and the road's nice, and the scenery's good. You'll see some cows come up here on the left side if I haven't already passed them. So it's one of my favorite straights, the portions of my ride. The only problem is this is that road I was talking about that had the heavy truck use. Moo, there's the cows. They don't care that I'm here. They just look at me like, what in the world is that guy doing? And what has he got on? Lycra? Remember, folks, Lycra is a privilege, not a right. Anyway, what was I saying? Something about this. Oh, yeah, it's a heavily trafficked piece of highway right here with truck traffic. And this road connects across the James River into the southern part of the state and goes up to a truck stop up here on the right. And that's, you might be able to see it. Actually, I guess it's a truck stop on the left and the right. So you get a lot of big trucks that come up through here. And then just as soon as you pass the truck stop, we'll be back over top of the interstate. So really the only issue that I have is from this light really going towards the interstate. And that's, really, it's just a few hundred yards, and here you are over the interstate. So you'll get passed by these trucks that are just doing nothing but getting back on the interstate after they came off for their rest stop and whatever else it is they do at truck stops. Buy CB radios, I guess. I should give a shout out to all the truckers, though. I honestly, some people ask me if I'm scared that these big trucks coming down the highway, and it's like, no, these guys are professionals. They know what they're doing. I don't really ever feel like I'm being intimidated or pushed or anything by the truckers. You hear them way back there slowing down when they see me, and they give me a wide berth every time. Here's another one of those traffic circles that we go through. I love doing these things. Makes me feel like I'm at the Tour de France. Lance Armstrong. Oh, that's probably a bad subject. Was that too soon? Anyway. What was it? Oh, yeah, the truckers. They're really great. I never have any problem with truck drivers. I have more problems with another traffic circle. Young people driving Camrys or Hondas, something or the other. It seems like they're the ones on their cell phones or not really paying too much attention, or just don't know what to do when they come up behind me. And it's infuriating when you see, you're getting passed by somebody and they come right along beside you, then they lay down on the horn. If you were scared that I didn't know you were there, just give me a little toot from behind somewhere, and I'll know that you're there. I can pretty much, you can hear, the cars coming up. Oh, by the way, this is the winery on the left, and we've been going through the vineyards here for quite a few miles, and it's very pretty. I always like this section. So don't lay on your horn when you go by a bicycle. I mean, you're going to frighten a person into crashing at the worst, and the least you just make somebody very angry. I almost always hear you behind me and will give you as much room as I can. If I'm in the middle of the road and it doesn't seem like I want to push over, there's going to be a reason for it. I don't want you passing me in a blind turn or when it's unsafe, but as soon as you can, go on around. All right, we passed the winery. Now we're back into the wooded section. I say old growth forest, but it's not really old growth. I mean, this is Virginia, the central peninsula part of the state, where most of this, the woods were all, the lumber they used to build the cities. Oh, here's some agricultural stuff. Look at that. How about that thing? Oh, and over here on the right side, this road leads down to a Presbyterian church where George and Martha Washington were married. I guess it was Martha's church. I'm not sure exactly. So most of these trees, to call them old growth would be probably not correct, but they're probably anywhere from 20 years old to 100-year-old woods. Maybe 200 at most. I think during the Civil War, a lot of these trees were flattened also, just because there was a war here. Wars are bad. Okay, here we are, still going through the countryside, pedaling. You can kind of tell when you look at my front wheel, the front tire, how fast I'm going. That thing will pick up speed when we're going downhill, and you'll see it slow down considerably. And that probably gives you as good an idea as any as to how fast I'm actually going. But I'll just let you watch us pedal here for a little bit. Is it really boring, or is it just me? It's not boring when I'm riding because, you got the wind and you can smell things and hear things, and every once in a while somebody tries to run you over and you cuss at them. No, I don't do that. I feel pretty comfortable. See how slow the tire's now starting to turn? You can tell also my sort of side-to-side movement. That's where I'm having to pedal hard to go up the hill. When I'm going down a hill fast, there's not nearly as much side-to-side movement. Back in, when I could stand up and pedal, you would really get the bike rocking from left to right as you stood out of the saddle to do it. Whee! This is a fun part. We're going to come up on River Road down here, and the river that they were talking about is the Pamunkey River. You never see it on this ride, but it would be straight out in front of me, maybe a mile at this point. But I'm turning onto a road, this River Road. Both sides of this property are pretty much all owned by a hunt club. So, it's a really good idea if I ride through here in the like deer season to wear some blaze orange. And I'll call that motivation. That'll make you pedal fast when you go through the hunt club. No, I'm just kidding. These guys are, they're not going to be down in here shooting towards the road. They know better than that. That's all part of being in a hunt club, is to know what you're supposed to be doing. Nonetheless, never hurts to wear a little blaze orange in deer season. At one point, I thought about and I knew a guy that did this. He had a jersey that he had made up that was a cycling jersey with NASCAR colors on it, and his thought was the guys in the pickup trucks were less likely to run you over if they thought you were a NASCAR fan. I'm kind of a NASCAR fan, and I have a pickup truck. Plus, I wouldn't run over a cyclist. I would never intentionally run over anybody. I have hit a squirrel or two in my time. I actually had a squirrel run between my tires before, where it didn't even touch the squirrel. He was running across the road. You know how they'll dart out. Wait, here comes a fun part. This is where I shift, and my chain fell off the chain ring, and for like a second I was like, what do I do? Because you click into the pedals, and they're like ski boot kind of thing. You click in, you're locked into your pedals, and if you don't unclick from your pedals, by the way, see these diagonal tracks? There's a trick to diagonal tracks in bicycling. If you hit railroad tracks that are wet and it's not perfectly perpendicular, your tires have such a tiny little contact patch that they'll slip out on the train track. And don't ask me how I know about that one. Whew. So the key is, when you cross diagonal railroad tracks, take them at an angle. You cross the highway or whatever you got to do, take them at an angle so you're more perpendicular. All right, here comes the same tracks again. This time they're not diagonal, so I just stand up and put my weight kind of back. I think I was talking about something before the diagonal railroad tracks, but it couldn't have been too important because I don't remember what I was saying. Well, anyway, here we're gonna make a right turn up here onto Tunstall Road, and it's a terrible hill climb. This one gets the best of me sometimes. I mean, I always make it, but it's a hard climb. If you kept going straight, there's even a worse climb that I like to call the wall. Other people call it One Banana Hill, but it looks like a wall when you see it in the wintertime. All right, coming up Tunstall. I'll start clickety-clicking real quick here to get it down into a lower gear. And I'll be in the lowest gear just real soon, and we'll do that for a long time. Now, I debated whether I was going to cut, make an edit here and then let you pick it up at the other end of the hill when I finally get to the top. But I figured, since I had to suffer through all this, you should probably have to suffer through all this. Yeah, it's that bad. Yeah, you can see how much I'm rocking from side to side while I'm going up here. I think there are probably times in my life when I was so out of shape I couldn't even walk up a hill like this one. But now, it's a first hill climb, and there are a few little tricks. People, I've heard a lot of different methods. Some people say pretend like there's a rope tied to your front of your bicycle and a winch up in front of you. And I've heard other people say pretend like there's somebody pushing you from behind. Somebody else had told me once to just ride within yourself, and I don't know what that means, but I do best if I focus my attention elsewhere. Start letting my mind wander, thinking about world problems and whatnot, and that tends to help me get to the top of the hill. It's kind of a putting your mind sort of in a different place. Also, another trick is don't look up. You know, like when you're scared of heights, you're not supposed to look down. Well, if you're scared of climbing, don't look up.
Show off. I just saw a cow pie on the side of the road. Remember to tell him that story, Monty.
Okay, Monty, I'll tell him that story. A few weeks ago, I was actually going the other direction, and just before the hill, some guy come in the opposite direction, and a pickup truck starts waving at me out of his window, and so I pull over. I have no idea what he's going to tell me. He goes, "Hey, look, there's a cow running loose down there," and I'm like, "Well, really, a cow?" And he goes, "Yeah, it got loose from somewhere around here, and just be careful." Yeah, he was real friendly, nice guy. So I come down the hill, and I never see the cow. I think I heard something rustling in the trees, but I never did see a cow. So I'm like, okay, I guess there's not one. I don't know what the deal is. But just now, in this ride, coming up here, I saw a cow pie right on the side of the road. So, yep, cows got loose. Haven't heard of any accidents down here, and the local Burger King didn't seem to be doing any more business than usual, so I guess the cow was safely returned to wherever he came from, which is probably just right up here. There's a big farm here with a lot of cattle and horses and so forth. Really pretty place. I think they do rodeos and horse shows and whatnot, so neat place. There's another farm up the road that raises sheep, and they train shepherds. So they have all these dogs out there that they teach to herd the sheep. Pretty neat to watch. That's kind of why I like bicycling. It's one of those things. If you walk, it takes so long to see anything like this. Although I love walking as well. If you're on a treadmill, you see nothing. It's just mundane, boring, make yourself sweat. But riding a bicycle gives you a change of scenery that you ride 10 minutes and you see something totally different. So it's really nice. Yeah, we're coming up on that farm now. Picking up speed, slowing down. Ooh. Ooh.
They don't care.
They do not. Always think about that Far Side cartoon where the cows are on the side of the road, and one of them's holding they're all holding like champagne glasses, and somebody yells out "car," and then they're all down on all fours, and then the car goes by and they're back up. Anyway, I my battery quit a little early before I got home, but I'm basically just now turning into my neighborhood. A few more turns, and I'll back into civilization. The ride itself was about an hour and 20 minutes without editing. And I think, I don't remember, I think it's 21, 22 miles, something like that. So it's not real fast, but it was a lot of fun. I appreciate y'all riding along with me today. Press that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and come watch the next video with us. Have a good one.